Speech act theory takes a close look at what we say, how we say it, and what it really means. This lesson focuses on helping us to communicate more effectively. You never look at a text message the same way again. But before we proceed to our lesson for today, let us know the objectives. At the end of the lesson, you are expected to describe speech act, distinguish types and classification of speech act, determine the appropriate response in different social settings. When you see or hear the word pragmatics, it may have scared you or made you think that it involves in a complex theory. Although you may not have realized it, you have been using pragmatics since you were a child. Simply, pragmatics is a branch of linguistics that deals with language and how we use it in conversation. Pragmatics deals with three major communication skills: following rules, changing language, and using language. Let us take a look at those major skills. Following rules, using the basic rules of polite conversation, such as taking turns in conversation, steering the conversation in a new direction, and reading facial expressions and eye contact. Next is changing language, adapting what you're saying and how to a particular situation or setting, such as filling the details for someone who doesn't know much about the topic you're discussing, speaking differently in a class setting than you would in a bar, and speaking to a child differently than you would an adult. The last is using language, putting words to use for a specific reason or goal, such as greeting, requesting, and informing. Using language is mentioned last, since this is the pragmatic skills that is most closely related to speech act theory. However, understanding the basis of pragmatics helps us to better understand the theory and makes us our overall communication that much stronger. At one time or another, we have all heard someone speaking and have wondered if there are hidden messages behind what they are saying, whether you know it or not. Sometimes the intent of what we are trying to say is just as important as or more important than what we are saying. It's establishing that relationship between the person who is speaking and the one who is listening. The earliest speech act theory were defined by a British philosopher, John L. Austin, in his book How to Do Things with Words. It's simple title, but it's true. We are always using words to get things done. Sometimes it's to convey emotion and other times it's to get others perform a task. There are three types of acts in every utterance, given the right circumstances or context. These are locutionary act, illocutionary act, and perlocutionary act. Locutionary act is the actual act of uttering or saying something. This act happens when the utterance of a sound, a word, or even a phrase as natural unit of speech. A locutionary speech act occurs when the speaker performs an utterance or locution which has a meaning in traditional sense. This act is much related to the hearer. If the hearer fails to understand the speaker is saying, then the speaker has failed to do a locutionary act. Example, I'm thirsty. Close the window. Hello, wow, or get out. Remember that in locutionary act, this is the act of saying something. It has a meaning and it creates understandable utterly to convey or express. Illocutionary act. Illocutionary act is a social function of what is said. In an illocutionary speech act, it is not just saying something itself, but with the act of saying something with the intention of stating an opinion or conforming or denying something, making a prediction, a promise, a request, issuing an order or a decision, or giving advice or permission. Example of that is, please do the dishes. By uttering the locution, please do the dishes, the speaker requests the addressee to wash the dishes. Another example is there any salt? The speaker says, is there any salt? The illocutionary act is, please give me some salt. An illocutionary speech act is a performance of act by saying something with a specific intention. A speaker may perform illocutionary act to make a promise, offer explanation, and many more, which is as proposed by Austin as illocutionary force. Remember that illocutionary act, it is the force of utterance. It is when the action is equivalent to words uttered and the speaker is performing an act, such as requesting or promising, and many more. However, we use words at the basis of it all. We are trying to get something accomplished. American philosopher John Searle further advanced the idea and research of speech act theory. Simply, he believed that each time that a word or phrase was spoken, it was a speech or illocutionary act that would be placed in a different categories. We have assertive, commissive, directive, declaratory, and expressive. Assertive is when the speaker expresses belief about the truth of proposition. Examples of assertive acts are suggesting, putting forward, swearing, boasting, and concluding. The next is we have commissive. Commissive commits the speaker to doing something in the future. Some example of commissive acts: promising, planning, vowing, and betting. Example, from now on, I will participate in our group activity. The next is we have directive. The speaker tries to make the addressee perform an action. Examples of directive act are asking, ordering, requesting, inviting, and advising, and also begging. Example, please close the door. The next is we have declaratory. Declaratory, a change of external situation. Examples of that is blessings, firing, baptizing, bidding, passing a sentence, and excommunicating. Example, you're fired. The last is we have what we call expressive. The speaker expresses his, her feelings or emotional reactions. Some examples of expressive acts are thanking, apologizing, welcoming, and deploring. Example, I am so sorry for not helping out in our group projects and letting you do all the work. So this is illocutionary acts based on John R. Searle. The last speech act theory, according to J.L. Austin, is the perlocutionary act. Perlocutionary act refers to a subsequent effect of what was said. This is based on a particular context in which the speech act was mentioned. This is seen when a particular effect is sought from either the speaker or the listener, or both. The response may not necessarily be physical or verbal and is elicited by inspiring or insulting, persuading, convincing, or deterring, scaring. Example, please do the dishes would lead to the addressee to wash the dishes. As you can see, in illocutionary act, please do the dishes, by uttering the locution, please do the dishes, the speaker requests the addressee to wash the dishes. A perlocutionary speech act happens when what the speaker says has an effect on the listener. Perlocutionary act talks about producing the effect of meaningful intentional utterances. In conclusion, the performance of perlocutionary act is the effect of locutionary and illocutionary act. In the summary of our lesson for today, illocutionary act, this is what we call the utterance. Illocutionary act, this is the intention, specific intention. And the last is perlocutionary act, which is the effect or the response. So this is the speech act theory according to John L. Austin. And since we are now finished in our topic, let's do some exercises. Direction, choose the correct answer. Number 1, consider this statement. I now pronounce you as husband and wife. Who among the following can say this and make marital union happen? You have 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And if your answer is a priest, you're correct. Next. What would you think does the speaker mean when she says, can you carry this for me? You have 5 seconds to answer. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And if your answer is letter B, yes, you are correct. Very good. Next, in which of the following statements is the speaker making a commitment? You have 10 seconds to analyze this question. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And if your answer is letter C, you are good at spotting who is making the commitment. Next, number 4. Which of the following refers to the utterance that a speaker makes in order to achieve an intended effect? I know all of you got the right answer, and I know all of you is very familiar with it. And if your answer is speech act, you are got the correct answer. Please pat your back too. Next, the last is, who is the proponent of speech act theory? I know he is very familiar with you. That is J.L. Austin. Very good. So if you got 5/5, then you know, or you really know now, the speech act theory by J.L. Austin and further research by John Searle. For your assessment, okay, recall a conversation you had with someone who did not understand what you mean and give you a different response. Then supply the table below with the needed information. This is your assessment for today. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for listening to me and have a wonderful day ahead. Goodbye and God bless.